naturalization. This takes place where a government, by treaty or cession, acquires the whole or part of the territory of the foreign nation and takes to itself the inhabitants thereof, clothing them and the rights of citizenship, either by terms of treaty. What's the treaty? Peace and friendship? Treaty?
Go ahead, girl.
Or by subsequent legislative state. Okay?
Girl, we got states. Go ahead, girl. Do your thing. I mean, just go ahead.
And through that, it basically made me go back to remembering the book, Peace and Friendship.
Yes. Do your work, girl. Just do your thing.
All right, let me show it to you.
Do what you do. And this is what we want to make. The same way that she's recognizing reference points is where you have to get. That you recognize you're thinking on your feet.
Treaty, right?
Thinking on your feet.
Right? Yes. Read it. This is what they're referring to right here. Yes.
That's enforcement law.
Yeah.
And then when you read what the Constitution, Article 6, all debts and engagements entered into before the adoption of the Constitution shall be binding against the United States under this Constitution, as well as under Confederation, and all treaties made or which shall be made in pursuance thereof shall be what? The supreme law of the land. And the judges of every state shall be bound thereby. Now they're talking trash, and you know who you are. Do you need a UCC or you need those constitutions? You got it, because you got a birthright. So what happens if you don't exercise it? You waive it. Go right back on the board. You see how that works? So we talking unity is getting our people on the same page, not based on some belief on a birthright that already belonged to them before they were even born and didn't know about. That's all. That's all.
That's a lot.
And getting them to enforce that law.
Okay.
Brother Curtis.
I've met certain Moors who they were born into the nation as far as their parents might have been going to the temple, so they have El Bey attached to their names, but they still have birth certificates and all these different.
And they can have birth certificates,
yes,
but they don't know their rights, and they also don't know that while Europeans or others may claim a debt by the birth certificate, that's why we teach contract law, because it fails in the law of evidence to being a contract. So there's no binding, it's only a claim of a binding. But the bound or the power that's really used is not the birth certificate, it's a distraction. The power is the power of attorney that the state is using on your behalf under wardship. Because under a test of law, it fails as an instrument that's valid as a contract, even in the rule of discovery, because nothing says on it that your mom sold the daggone thing. So therefore, in law contract, it fails. There's no offer of consideration, there's no substance transferred into consideration, therefore it fails in law of contract. Therefore, and then you, in Article 12 of the original Amendment 13 of the Constitution for the United States and the Nobility Clause, i.e. the descendants of Africans cannot be citizens, therefore you cannot dissolve a citizenship that never resided to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Therefore you don't need to dissolve anything because you were never party. Then the 14th Amendment that so-called made the brand a citizen corporate in order to steal your birthright again under the 14th Amendment is a fraud, was never passed, never ratified, it's in contradiction to the Constitution, is not law, fails in law, etc., and it is not binding, therefore they can't convert the debt of the U.S. religious corporation of the Vatican upon you as a U.S. citizen because you never were one. The only one that needs to dissolve is Europeans, and when they do, they got to go back to England, Ireland, or France, and stop calling themselves white people. So don't get this confused between you and them.
433. White people?
Yes, do you?
Right.
Now pay attention to this.
Okay.
And when you see, I already know you're going to see that you go emphasize it.
Free white persons. Free white persons referred to in the Nationalization Act. Y'all heard what I said?
Nationalization Act.
As amended by Act July 14, 1870, has meaning naturally given to it when first used in one statute, 103, which we're gonna skip.
Naturalization Act, isn't it?
Yes.
Naturalization Act. Now recognize that this is the area shortly after Europeans start calling themselves white people.
Okay. Meaning all persons belonging to the European races then commonly counted as white, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have immigrated. It includes all European Jews, more or less intermixed with people of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. It includes Magyars, Lapps, and Finns, and the Basques, and Albions, or Albanians, I should say. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. I repeat, amen? Amen. Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. The mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African. Phoenician.
Yes.
And where am I? Phoenicians and North African inhabitants of Sicily, and the mixed Slav and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia. It does not mean Caucasian race.
Repeat that.
It does not mean Caucasian race.
Repeat it.
It does not mean
So
Caucasian
what, as soon as our
race.
people keep calling Europeans white, they just gave them sovereignty. They don't belong to them, don't they? And they don't know that they're white people, do they?
Nope.
So they just traded places, didn't they? Didn't they? So they've given him political power through the lack of knowledge of language.
Yes.
See what our problem is? See why, if our people don't know that black is a brand, they think they're giving themselves some kind of power by claiming that, don't they? When they actually put themselves on the bottom rung of society, can't own property.
Yeah.
You get the whole point? Now you understand why the NACP, after the Europeans took over, which used to be the Niagara movement, in their charter they can't own property? But our people fund it, don't they? You see what our problem is? Because they don't know law. And they don't know themselves. Gina, go ahead, do your
Question?
No, because what I want to present here, honestly,
Okay.
is to demonstrate that when you come up here and you help in the class, when it sends you in your mind to things that you know, speak it.
Right.
Because that helps people who have questions in the back of their mind, stops them from asking the question. Because what you're doing, you're discovering what you already know, but it opens more doors and it becomes clearer to you. And it becomes obvious. And it also becomes more important to you to recognize the danger of not knowing what you're talking about.
Yes.
When you're out there talking about rights and stuff. Go ahead.
And it also does not mean Aryan race or Indo-European races, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, and Mongolian people who inhabit Persia. A Syrian of Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person.
Now, this is for you, because I already know you can work this. Now I want you to look at colored people. Now pay attention to why they call us colored people